Tamar Turner here with another episode of the Down to Business podcast. And today we sat down with Ryan of Phi Nu Fitness and got into all things bodybuilding because, as you can see, the muscles they're not really doing me any justice today with the hoodie, but I could definitely, use some tips, use some advice. So discuss all things when it comes to the art, when it comes to the sport, when it comes to the impact and the benefit that it can really have on the mind, the body, and the soul collectively and individually. We even talked about his transformation from high school till now, how that was met with just some disbelief, some doubters, some naysayers, whatever you want to call it. But he continues to push forward, he continues to move forward and focus on himself, and improving. So without further ado, enjoy episode 76, Master Your Physique. All right, so I'd just like to welcome everybody back to another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner. And we rocking and rolling, man. I love, just being able to sit down with so many talented folks. I love being able to sit down with people who I know, people who I don't know, friends of friends, mutuals, and everything like that. So Ryan, who I'm sitting down with today, man, actually, he kind of put the pressure on me and he don't even realize that he did. So basically Ryan actually followed my podcast page like a while back. And it was just like, I was just like, yo, like who? Like, well, first I seen the Phi Nu Fitness. So once I seen Phi Nu, so me being the bros, I was just like, all right, hold on. Like, it's no like rivalry or nothing like that. But what is going on here? But once I seen the mutual, I said, okay, it makes sense. Like I knew what was going on. And then I also knew Mecca and just everything that she had going on. But so immediately once he followed the podcast page, I just started tapping in to his content, to the page, to everything that he had going on. And I was just like, yo, like this is impressive, bro. Like all frat aside, just everything aside, just from an individual to an individual, like this is really, for me, I take the physical fitness field and everything like that. I just approach that a little bit differently. One, because it's not my area of expertise. Two, because I don't know what it takes, but I watched one of my closest friends, one of my roommates, really study health fitness specialists and really train people and really the dedication to the craft that he had to make and really still what he does to this day to make it happen. But three, just because it's needed. Health and wealth and physical fit, all of that is needed for us. And just as me, somebody who is conscious of that and always wanting to be my best self, I think about that. So obviously he followed me like some months back. So obviously the fact that I'm just now getting him on here, I was procrastinating a little bit. I wasn't really doing what I was doing, but it's not to say that, I wasn't tapped and I wasn't watching the content, but I reached out to him more recently and he was down, shot him the details, told him kind of what I had going on and everything like that. And we locked in just like that. So very excited to, to be sitting down with him today and locking with him and really just, hear not only his story, his start, but the progression. And I'm excited to get y'all to tap in with him too, just the same. So Ryan, how you doing today, my guy?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you for having me on the show, brother. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate the opportunity to express and explain some of the things I got going on my page, and I
Oh, for
appreciate
sure.
the
I
platform,
definitely, as
man.
much as you appreciate, being here and being a part of the vision, I appreciate you because, it's people like y'all that allow me to be 70 plus episodes. And it's people like y'all that, allow other people to tap in and that give me more fans and viewership and audience and things like that. So I'm definitely extending all of that gratitude right
Yes,
back
sir.
at you. So for the people tapping in, for the people, obviously you're going to have some people from your side. I'm going to have some people from my side. We're going to have some people far in and few between. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and then what brings you on the podcast today?
Okay, my name is Ryan Day. I'm 28 years old. I'm from Bertie County, North Carolina. And my transit method, I guess, to get up here on this platform is my fitness page on Instagram and everything that I do in the world of health and fitness. And I named my company and my page Phi Nu Fitness. I played on words, obviously using my fraternity. I remember Kappa Alpha Psi. And basically, I got that inspiration. Originally, it kind of started out where I wanted to just post a lot of like brothers, especially Kappa brothers working out, and try to make it a Greek workout page. But as I kind of went through it, I kept getting more questions about how did I get here, because the people that went to high school with me and the people that see me now, they're like, bro, what did you do? How did you do it? So it turned from kind of a workout and motivation page to actual company, me training people, and actually being able to make a little bit of money off of that. So it's kind of developed into a good thing, man. I'm really surprised that it happened organically like that.
Got you. So even coming in with that mindset, coming in, kind of thinking one track and thinking that you wanted to start it for this and have certain people featured and things like that. Once you saw it kind of taking that turn, and once you saw it kind of, you had people reaching out to you, like you said, and you saw that you had potential to expand and to really open this up to other people. What was some of like your first steps or your first orders of business, to really make this an inclusive page for everyone?
Well, the main thing was to incorporate content that everybody could appreciate. A lot of times, guys, I feel like their problem when they can't get clients or get even love on their page is because they're doing stuff that's a little bit out of reach. I think if you make people feel like they can be a part of your journey or they can identify or relate to your journey, they'll participate in it. But if they look at me as, yo, you've had the perfect body, the perfect workout, the perfect metabolism, perfect stamina, then they're gonna kind of look like, I'm not like that. So you gotta give people a chance to relate to you, and you can't always seem like you're, you know, the biggest person or the most in shape person because sometimes they are people sometimes can be hit with a little bit of their confidence will be lowered by your greatness. So sometimes people that are very great have to be aware of that and bring themselves not bring yourself down, but make yourself accessible to everybody. So the first step was kind of just learning to be humble and be accessible to people. Can't hear you, bro.
Ooh, my bad. I was saying, bro, you really started the
Yeah,
interview off on a great point. I think that that's such an unsought after concept. Like just thinking about the humility, having to kind of like recognize that yes, you can definitely hold yourself to high standards on a high pedestal, high expectations and everything like that. But you also have to recognize everybody is not at that point in their life. Everybody may come to your journey at
exactly.
this step, or they may come over here, or they may come at there. Something that makes me think about is when I was in high school and when I was I went to a private high school. So I went to school with my linemen are like 300 plus pounds and custom knee braces and 6'1" and 6'2". And so we getting in the weight room, we all lifting together. I'm just like, well, like how you expect me to like you pairing me up with my right tackle? I'm a
Right,
I'm a corner wide receiver. Like what you really want me to put up? We having to take off everything every time I get under the bar. When he get on the bar, we got to
right.
triple every quadruple everything. So in a
Put
sense,
everything back
you
up.
lose
Right,
you lose motivation. You get discouraged a little bit. But when you can be paired
for
with
sure.
people, or when you can recognize that yes, I'm here, I'm there. But you have no problem, dumbing it down a little bit or just making things happen for people that are not there. But not to say that you can't get here, you can't be there. But I feel like if you just start at such a high
Right.
level on such a high pedestal, it can kind of have some people like yo, like whoa, like what you? Come on, bro, I'm not really there.
It's too
Just a little bit
intense.
too intense. But if you come to people, with that mindset and that makeup of yo, we're gonna make this work regardless. If I'm scaling at this amount of weight, we're gonna scale you here. We still gonna do the same intensity, we still gonna do the same amount of sets and reps. We just gonna put you on a different scale. I think that that's so important, but not even just with weights and with fitness, but just with life and just with anything, with information, with learning a new job, with coming into a new role. You can't just expect me to, you can't be throwing things at me as if I'm in your role, as if I've been doing this for years, like you've been doing this. No, you have to treat me like this is day
That's
one
right.
orientation. I'm learning things. Think about when you first started and everything that you kind of had to go through. No matter the experience or whatever, everybody has to start somewhere on a level playing field. So I think that that's such an important thing, but more importantly,
That's right.
in your field. So thinking about physical fitness, thinking about health and everything like that as such a populous industry, as something where it's a lot of people involved, whether people are just becoming certified trainers, whether people are doing their own things, whether you have the people just eating healthy in different regimens and different. I see a challenge every month about know this and know that and just how long it can last. What did you have any kind of reservations or any drawbacks when you were kind of getting involved with your field, when you were starting Phi Nu Fitness and everything like that? Was there anything that you really had to consider, or did you really just go into this as yo, I'm Ryan, this is what I want to do to this thing. This is really how I'm gonna put my own spin and my own twist on it.
Being that I came from a position where, like you said, in high school, I'm an extremely small guy. I mean, I played basketball in high school, and we kind of just had that Kevin Durant mentality of we just gonna hoop. So I never really got into weights until maybe college. But I think that because I was very confident in the information that I gathered, and I knew what I was doing, and I was confident with my results. Right, your knowledge can be shown through your words, ways, and actions, and therefore your understanding can be seen. So for me, it's about doing the knowledge, right, and learning, listening, observing, respecting, all right, the craft that you're doing, And when you do that, it's like a confidence that comes about because you may not be the ideal body that you want to be at, but you know you have the correct tools that'll get you there. So for me, it was more so the information that I was learning because I mean, yeah, I was probably about, I had a decent look for me, but I didn't have real size and all that. But it was more so the passion that drove me to look past anything that could be negative. Because if you go into it like, hey, I don't know if I'm gonna do good, then you're not gonna do good. You have to almost go in with an insane mentality when you do anything that, hey, I'm gonna be the best at this, and then that'll start to permeate through your through your being, and then everybody will be able to see that. Cause man, sometimes I even look at myself today, and I'll talk to my friends from my local area, and they'll be like, "Man, what are you doing? You taking steroids? You doing this?" I'm like, "Bro, I appreciate the compliment." You know what I'm saying? Like my mother asked me that one day. She said, "Son, are y'all your gains natural?" And I said, "Yo, it's the fact that you said that tells me a lot, but nah, I'm not there yet. But I appreciate the compliment. It let me knew that I was working. So just being confident in the information that you're using, man, that really takes the difference. Knowledge is really power in anything that you do. So having that information really just like set the trail on fire for me.
I feel like confidence, man, will have you sitting in rooms, being with people, being amongst others at events or just different things like that, where you may not necessarily be the most knowledgeable in the room. You may not be the richest in the room. You may not even sometimes you may not even belong in the room per se, just based off of age, skill level, expertise, whatever have you. But confidence will exuberate and excel you to just different levels, bro. Confidence will have people thinking you are part of the company. Confidence will have people thinking that you've been doing this all your life, that you're taking steroids, that
I'm telling
you
you.
why you not a famous, why you not on this and that, yeah, why you haven't been doing this. Confidence will really, but it's something that obviously is learned, it's experienced, it can be taught just the same.
Right.
It's not everybody is not at this same level, but it's not to say that just because you may start down here, you may start a little bit lower, or it may just be something that you have to work on. It's not to say that you can't have that same self-confidence, that same self-awareness as somebody who you look up to or somebody who you really derive a lot of emotion from. So I love that. And I just love the fact that you didn't allow sometimes some of these outsiders, some of these, just the negativity that can come with, branding yourself. Yeah,
Man, I had
yeah.
plenty of them.
Look, man.
I remember I first started, man. It's like guys would be like, I went to college, they'd be like, bro, why you little? Like I'd be posting my little pictures flexing. Then it's like they didn't see that those 3-4 years when I was building towards where I'm at. And then it's like one day all of a sudden it's like, yo, bro, what you doing? What have you been? It went from like stop, you don't even need to try to like, wow, dog. So it's like you gotta kind of ignore everyone because people are always gonna say something negative. I'm sure when you started your podcast, bro, somebody was like, man, why are you doing that? Oh, okay. I mean, what about this? And trying to just deter you. But as long as you can see the vision, that's all that matters, really.
And it was to the point where some people had me even thinking like, do people listen to podcasts? Like, is this something that is this the space that I was in? And then I realized like, I'm thinking about the wrong people. I'm thinking about the wrong audience. I read a post today from somebody who I follow that was basically just like, if you think that the people who are going to put you on, if you think the people who are really your true target audience and things like that are your friends or people who you're sadly mistaken. Your business is really not going to grow that way. You have to be posting. You have to be recording, editing, whatever promo, whatever craft it is. You have to be doing it for the people who you don't know, for the people who you're undiscovered by yet, for the people who, if they kind of came across your page today or tomorrow, they interested, they giving you a follow, they doing some scrolls and some like and reaching out like, yo, what is that you do? How did you get that? Because your friends and your family, sometimes people just support just because it's you, or they know you, they know the relationship that
It's
they
you.
have with you. They know that I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of just knowing, maybe scrolling past my LB stuff, or maybe scrolling. Sometimes I don't even read stuff to its entirety. I'm gonna be very honest with you. If I just see that my LB posted, or
Right.
if I see that he threw it up, I'm gonna vote on it, or I'm gonna reshare it just off the strength and the principle. But other people, it's just like, yo, some people, if a stranger is doing that, or if somebody who you don't know who just came across you, or a mutual friend or whatever is doing that, it's because they really took some time to invest. They maybe did some reading. They was maybe on the website. Maybe they even ordered something or looking to order something or things like that. So that goes to just show that you never know. Everybody and anybody could be a potential customer, could be a potential audience, could be somebody who you potentially driving in. But if you're just trying to hit and hone in on one specific group, you're not giving yourself room to grow and learn. So in just thinking about that and thinking along like that track and that space and everything, is there anything that you feel like kind of hearing what the people had to say, hearing what the kind of the outsiders and the negativity and just different things like that. Did that change your approach at all to really what you wanted to do, to how you wanted to do it, to the vision that you had for Phi Nu Fitness, and kind of where you want to push it, thinking about like even more in the future?
Well, one thing that I kind of was tagged with challenge with people kind of want to hit me with, well, hi, let me get some home workouts, let me get some no weight workouts, let me get some, workouts within. That was challenging because people don't understand the difference between training for a sport and training as a sport. And even training as a sport, you have powerlifting, Olympic lifting, and bodybuilding, right? So for me, my avenue or my medium is bodybuilding, physique, right? Physique. And I could care less how high you jump, I could care less how fast you run. It's about how you look in the mirror for me and what I do. So I think it was hard because a lot of people might want you to conform to the conventional way of everybody else. Everybody else giving you doing quarantine, home workouts, no weight workouts. I don't believe in that. So I'm not going to give nobody or promote anything that I truly don't believe in. So for me, I had to kind of reinvent the wheel though. I had to kind of maybe, okay, let me do bodybuilding basics, bodybuilding for beginners, stuff like that. People who are novice, who haven't competed yet, who are looking to compete. Let me become a medium. Let me become an outlet for them to express what they might want or display those things that they might want vicariously through me, right? So it's kind of like it helped me. I had to kind of take the criticism and like, okay, how can I reach more people? Because bodybuilding can be intimidating. I mean, you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger or somebody like that, you're like, whoa. But he had to start somewhere. He had to start somewhere. And a lot of times that isn't shown. So I had to say, okay, I'll give them something that's a little more novice while sticking in my particular area, which is bodybuilding. A lot of people that train today, they're training under CrossFit methods. When I look at you, you know what I mean? The way they work out, I can tell, okay, you're doing CrossFit. Very rarely people participate in bodybuilding. So my thing was nobody does it like that. That'll be a somewhere that'll make me unique in the world of fitness, especially in North Carolina and northeastern North Carolina. You don't see a lot of people my age promoting that. So it kind of worked out. You got to learn how to do two things, man. Number one, I'm gonna say this: what helps me be physically conscious is my mental conscious, right? I became mentally conscious and I saved myself mentally before I saved my body, right? So as a member of the Nation of Gods and Earths, we are promoting physical health, mental health, spiritual health. So the first thing I got into health and wellness by eating in my diet first because I understood how to have a proper diet. You know what I mean? And then from that, we kind of promote in our culture having physical strength, physical activity. Everybody doesn't lift weights, but they do some type of physical activity. So I already had it ingrained in my mind and my culture to do this. So it's kind of almost impossible for somebody to get me off track. And I said that to say this: in any situation in life, you can build or destroy. You can choose to do those things. So if somebody gives you something, you have two options, right? You can build with it or you can destroy with it. What I chose to do was build, add on with the negative comments they gave me because I had to differentiate and integrate. Integrate what I needed, throw away what I didn't. And I think that concept that I already had in me allowed me to prosper more because sometimes we can get into egoism as people who are content creators. You don't know. People do know because they're the consumer of the content. So you do have to take an account for what they want. So it's about finding balance and equality in everything that we do.
And that can be hard, especially when like you said, that egoism, man, it can take over, and you can just feel like sometimes your craft, you're just so unique to it that even as people don't realize that too. Yes, somebody may not be a podcaster, somebody may not necessarily have their own podcast, but at the same time, you're listening. You know what you want to listen for. You've listened to other podcasts. You know what you like. You know what you don't like. So whereas you may not necessarily be doing the physical act. You may not be recording. You may not be behind the scenes. You may not know all the work and everything that goes into it. Like you said, you're still a consumer in a sense. You're still, a part of the process. And if you don't like that, if you don't, then I would be, self-centered to just say that, nah, you just, maybe it's just you. Maybe it's not me. I would be self-centered to not be able to do that reflection and know that, hey, look, I'm not the perfect podcaster. Joe Budden is not the perfect podcaster. Rogan is not the perfect podcaster. Like nobody out there, is the perfect podcaster. At the end of the day,
You're right
you
about
have
that.
things that you're good at, you have things that you're not good at, and you have to recognize when you're not good at things. You either you want to take some time to improve it. You either you take some, maybe you don't improve it, but you take a step back and realize, yo, somebody called me out for this. Somebody said that, this and that, or this could have been a little bit better, or this could have been a little better. Or see, you do nothing at all. Ultimately, the choice is up to you. But to say that, there's never any room for improvement, that the consumer is wrong, the customer is always right, man. I learned that the hard way. You learn that in anything that you do, in a sense. But it's also just to say that you always got to take time. You always got to take time for that reflection. You always got to take time to realize, yo, what am I really putting out? But not only what am I really putting out, how are the people receiving it? Are they receiving it? Is it, what message is it giving off? Am I really promoting what I really say I am? So even just in thinking about that concept itself, so egoism, just thinking about, what we put out to people, what they take back from it. For somebody, who may come across the Phi Nu Fitness page, for somebody who may meet you in the gym, for somebody who may meet you on the street, see you wearing a hoodie or something like that, and ask you about the brand, ask you about, what is really the purpose of this? I see a lot of fitness brands. I see a lot of people promoting this and all of that. And, so what really, now I wouldn't even say what really differentiates you from everybody else, but for somebody wanting to know more about Phi Nu Fitness, for somebody even potentially wanting to get involved with you, what do you have to say to people like that? Like, what do you have to say to people who really have no idea what it is that you do?
For me, the main thing I kind of want to get people to understand, or I want people to know, is that I'm all about being relatable, right? I'm all about achieving goals through realistic, tangible means. And I think a lot of times even in the fitness industry, especially, the ego is a big thing with trainers because a trainer will say, it's this way, you gotta train. And there's multiple ways to train, right? It's multiple ways to reach somebody because everything is not all, it's more than one way to get to 10. 5 plus 5, 4 plus 6, 7 plus 3. There is more than one way to go about it. And a lot of times, most trainers, most fitness influencers, they try to stick within their scope of information and they don't try to get everybody else's degree of understanding. What's different with me is that I'm able to train women. My very first client was my mother. My very first client was my mom. And that was a big shock because for me, I'm going in, I'm an intense guy when I work out. But what training with my mother showed me was that, okay, you have to be considerate of the person's age, their health status, and their experience in fitness. So I want to say that I approach bodybuilding from a inclusive position. I don't just stick to what I read, what I found. I try to meet you in the middle, compromise where you're comfortable. I'm gonna get comfortable. If you want to train 3 days a week, I'm gonna give you a bodybuilding workout for 3 days. You know, the only thing I don't budge on is diet, though. I don't budge on diet. That's the only thing. Other than that, time, intensity, all that, we can work with it. Only thing I don't budge with is diet because that's, 1, 2, 3. You can't get past that. But I kind of just try to include everybody. A lot of times, women have been my main clients. I can't lie, which is a little like, oh, you but a bodybuilding trainer. But like I said, working with different women, different sizes and shapes, I kind of know how to approach each person from where they're coming from. Sometimes you got to hit them with the baby food, right? Like, do you know how to do a push up? Do you know how to do a sit up? Can you do a lunge? And then you get to guys where it's like, all right, bro, we're gonna hit supersets, we're gonna do trisets, and they'll kind of get with it and know. So it's a little bit I'm adaptable. Whatever you need, I'm able to adapt to that.
Got you. Adaptability is key, man, and it just goes to show that, like, with it on my, what I really get from that is that, no experience or no, client or no problem is too big for you to solve in some way, shape, or form, bro. It's just like you said,
For sure.
you have your one. I wouldn't even say you have things. You have your one thing that you talk about, diet. It's clear cut, concise. I get it, because then I feel like that's where people try to, cheat the system the most.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's where you get the pullback on the diet. That's where working out is easy for a lot of people.
yeah,
When you get into how to really diet to lose weight, oh my God, that's when you get into the arguments
yeah.
or
So
the
many
I don't
questions of,
understand.
but can I do this, or why I got to do it like, yeah. So
Yep,
the fact that
yep.
the fact that you approach it with that mindset is just like, look, that you're not a know-it-all, but at the end of the day, you know what you have, you know what you've gained, you know what you can gain from it. But at the same time too, that hasn't stopped you from learning. Like you said, you were able to learn so much from your mom, even learn about yourself and learn what you had to do and how you had to approach things when dealing with somebody else. And not only did that help
Mm-hmm.
you with her, but I'm sure it helped you with future clients, how to just adjust and adapt. Okay, well, I knew when I was working out with my mom that I had to be a certain way like this. So why don't I just, start that way here and then build and see, what's
That's
acceptable, what's
right.
not acceptable, and things like that. So it's constantly just that evolving process, and I love to hear that for sure. So something that I want to talk about, just because I feel like I don't really know too much about it, bodybuilding. So
Okay.
what it like? Okay, give me really just the like what is bodybuilding particularly, and then can we just talk about even some misconceptions or just maybe some common myths about bodybuilders and what it is that y'all actually do?
Sure. Okay. So if I had to go off definition, bodybuilding, it is a sport, but people who bodybuild consider it to be an art because you're literally building your body to be beautiful, right? You're trying to understand your body. You're trying to learn to grow your body. It's about size, it's about shape, and it's about symmetry. Okay. You have to know every muscle on your body because you have to develop that, right? The difference between a bodybuilder and, let's just say, an athlete, because people will see somebody like DK Metcalf and they're like, "Yo, he's huge. He could be bodybuilding. He wouldn't even place in the top 10 in a bodybuilding competition. Not because he's not in shape, not because he's not built, but because it's about how you display it and how much size, separation, and finish you have, and detail you have. So it's really about, number one, you have to be intelligent to be a bodybuilder because you need to know anatomy. You need to know where your lats are. You need to know your three heads of your delt. You need to know where your triceps, your biceps, the parts of your pec, how to work your lower pec, how to work your upper pec, right? You have to know your body. You have to be in tune with your body. You have to know about the central nervous system, right? You have to have a little bit of intellect to be a successful bodybuilder because that's what it requires. It requires to know the body, right? That's one. That's if I could give it a definition. So the difference between, so you have stuff like powerlifting where people just lift for to be strong. Bodybuilding is about being strong and looking good at the same time, right? It's about having a low body fat percentage. It's about knowing how to pose because you can have a wonderful body, but if you don't know how to pose and display it, it's just you just a regular guy. You might as well be a model on in a magazine because bodybuilding is really about the posing. That's the sport of it. That's where you get judged. That's where people will give you money because how well you pose. So I would say that in terms of just what bodybuilding is. Um, Now a misconception that I want to hit on is that every bodybuilder is not on steroids. They people associate bodybuilding with steroids. You don't have to be on steroids to be a bodybuilder, right? Now there are bodybuilders who do it, plenty of them, but you have to realize that there are several different classifications. You have classic, the lowest level, men's men's physique. You have classic physique, and then you have men's open physique, right? That's when it's like a beach body. You're very ripped abs. You don't worry about your legs. You wear those long board shorts. Those are people that wear those long board shorts who pose. Might be about 180, 190. Then you get into the classic physique. That's the most popular division. Classic physique are those guys that wear the like compression shorts, but they're big, but they're not unbelievably big. Like if you can think of how Arnold Schwarzenegger looked in the 70s, for people you can Google that. That's what a classic physique looks like. And then you have open bodybuilders, which is the top level guys. They get $500,000 for winning shows. That's the top level. Those guys who are 300 plus pounds and like 5% body fat. Those are the monsters. Those are people who are just unbelievable to see. So you have different categories, but most people associate bodybuilding with open competitors, top level guys. Everybody doesn't do that. The sport has actually grown by opening up those other categories because not everybody wants to destroy their body with steroids. Not everybody wants to do that. Some people can just genetically get bigger and be muscular with proper diet. So don't just associate bodybuilding with steroids. because that's very ignorant. And don't think that protein. What I mean by steroids, not protein shakes, not creatine, not anything you can get in GNC. Steroids are something you inject in your ass. Period. You like a shot at the doctor. You can get it. It's gonna be illegal from the black market, or you had to get it prescribed from a doctor. You know what I'm saying? So people don't know that, and I gotta say it because people really ask me a lot. Are you on steroids? What do you take? Da 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 da. Da. Some people serious, some people playing, but what it is just people just can't really don't understand hard work. More so than anything else, because hard work and training will get you bigger than any drug will. Any drug will. So that's one big thing misconception. People definitely think if you bodybuild, oh, you own something, you taking something. Nah, bro, I just bust my ass every day. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. That hard work pay off, man. I love that. I love that, and I definitely do. I had no idea from the categories to just, but now that you kind of say that, as you were talking about each one, I was just envisioning in my head and envisioning what I see. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure my LB Dre. That's what he's trying to get.
Yeah.
So I see him a lot on IG trying to hit the pose and everything. And I'm like you said, bro. It's really like crazy just to watch it because, like you said, it's considered like a sport. But to me, I'll be looking at it like, damn, like that's art. That's art. Like that's
It's
beautiful.
art. It's
Like
really art.
how do you get your body? Like yeah, bro. I see the veins and things that I got. And stuff. I'm looking at people like yo. You can literally see like every muscle on that man right now. Like
Yeah,
how
man.
those muscles I ain't even know we had that just be popping out of folks sometimes, or just like bro, like
And
you said, it's all
like I said, Dre, he from Bertie like me, so me and him know each other. So I've seen him as well. I know where he was, and I've seen where he got. And you can talk to him, and he'll probably verify what I'm saying is differences, right? Because just because you train, because a lot of people hit me, well, I played football in college. Like, bro, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to work out. I know you don't know how to work out. You know what I'm saying? Like. I asked dude, I'm like, how you think you got to work your back, man? What you do for your back? People be like, well, I don't know. I don't even. So you got to kind of, not even just knowing your body, you got to know how to exercise properly, how to do the lifts in a proper way. Because, I mean, if you think you're doing something, but if you don't have a mind focus, mind muscle connection is what we call it, being able to focus on that squeeze, being able to feel everything, you're not going to get the most out of it. So you get experience by application. So somebody will say, hey, you need to try this technique, and you'll try it. If you can't feel it, you can't feel it. But you got to find the workouts or the method of working out that makes your body respond the best. And that's what bodybuilders have done. They found the formula that makes their body be the best it can be. Some guys can do bench press. Some guys use only dumbbell. It just depends on how your body responds and learning your own body. So like nothing that people can give you a general rundown of how to do it, but until you go and apply it yourself, you're not gonna get those serious results, man. And like I said, he's another one. He's another one that um he I it's a different because sometimes me and him will talk like we'll send a text or I might comment on something he posts, he might comment on something I post because it's like we recognize, okay, bro, you really doing it the right way. You know what I'm saying? You doing it the way it's supposed to be done. So it is amazing though, but I definitely would consider it an art over a sport. Me personally, I take it as an art looking like a Greek statue. You know what I mean? Those old Greek statues, man. That's what they did. They was like, that's how you want to look. That's how you want to pose. So
crazy. Yeah, nah. Just in thinking about a lot of what I've seen from the competitions to some of the stuff that he drops on us to some of the stuff that he sends. It's amazing to see things like that. Like I said, some of them things look like they look fictitious. How artistic, how still, how just
hmm
the fact that the light hit you a certain way. Yeah, it's crazy. But as you were talking about each level, I'm just like, okay, I can see that. I can see that. But another something that you brought up too that kind of just makes me appreciate what y'all do just that much more and appreciate the authenticity behind it is just how you take the easy right out. Like you say, you can go get the shot, you can go get the prescription, go to the black market, go do whatever you got to do for that moment and different things like that. But it's another thing when you really dedicate yourself to a craft, when you really wake up every day and say, yo, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to put this work in. I'm gonna do whatever it takes for however long it takes to put this work in. I'm all organic, no gimmick. I talk about that a lot. Just having the pride, having that sense of it's a better sense of accomplishment when you know you really got it out the mud, when you know you really got it from the muscle, from the ground up, rather than, just taking that easy way out or making that shortcut just for that temporary, that fix or that temporary feel or that temporary pose.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the end, authenticity will reign supreme over everything, bro. It's really just about, what you really did. So the fact that, y'all see the people who taking the easy way out, y'all see the people who not going about it the best of ways, and you still stick on that track, you still stay strong through it all. I take my hat off to y'all, man. I take my hat off to everybody just in that field and just everybody that's really doing what y'all doing. So something that you spoke of was getting the most out of things, was really just, taking advantage of everything that comes your way when it's time to even propel that onto others. So what is something that now, as a business owner, as somebody just in this field, as somebody, working towards a common goal, working towards a craft, what hopes do you have for Phi Nu Fitness? What do you really want, not only you to get out of this, what do you want people to get out of this? What are looking down the line, looking long term, when we look back maybe a couple of years from now and see where you are right now, look at even this interview, for instance, where do you see Phi Nu Fitness at?
Well, I'm looking to on a personal note. I have to competing next year. Next year will be my first time doing a show. About maybe I think I'm aiming for April of next year. And I kind of one thing that I kind of want to be able to stand on something. I believe in being qualified and verified before you can really promote certain stuff, right? So I kind of want to go through my first show and I kind of document what I'm going through right now so that I can kind of display that when that time comes because I think that to be a bodybuilder, you have to not only train, but you have to compete as well. So I have the training, I have the eating down pat, but I just never competed. So I'm with the team. I'm on. It's a fitness team. It's called Team Legacy out of Kinston, and that's my coach who I have. I just got a coach this year because you kind of it's like anything else. You got to network, you got to know people to kind of get certain doors. So they've kind of and then they'll just add on expertise, man. I mean, you can only get so much for yourself, and that's a part of not being humble. Like you can learn from someone else. So after this competition season next year, I'm looking to actually get into a lot more of hands-on training. I've been kind of focusing the last 6 months to a year on myself, especially after quarantine, kind of getting everything back because COVID hit me hard, not being able to get into the gym like that. So I had to kind of, get myself back where I was. I had to refocus. And once our competition season is over, I'm going to definitely get into more hands-on training with individual people because that way they'll be able to see, okay, he's actually went out and done it, and he knows what it takes to win, lose, or get kicked out. You know what I mean? They'll say, hey, he has a knowledge base or experience in this particular part too. So I'm just trying to add on to my tool belt, man, because it's new for me. I've only been doing this for I've been training for 5 years, but I'd say I've been bodybuilding for 3. Because at first I was just going in there, just throwing stuff or whatever. But I've only been really at it all together since maybe 2017 of every, like when I say, you know what, I'm going to start lifting. You know what I mean? Um, to now. So I'm kind of learning every day. The gym I go to, I talk to a lot of the guys that compete in there. I just try to learn, soak up wisdom. And it's so much to learn. You know what I mean? It's so much to learn. So kind of just wanting to focus on the shows and then actually having a display of that what it took to get there. That's probably the next big thing to expect from my page.
I think there was such an underlying message in there, and you probably don't even realize that you just put it out there. But for the people who are listening, for the people who are going to see this, the message that I just got from that was, okay. So, and stop me if I say anything wrong here. So, you said that you were basically you've been lifting for 5, training for 3. You said this your first official, like, you about to really go into it, the first official like competition type thing that you're
Hmm.
looking to do next year. Okay. So, in 5 years' time, in 3 years of worth of training, this is his first competition that he's about to go into. But what did he say that he was still doing? Still going to the gym, still learning from people, still asking people, still soaking up. It's just like, yo, it doesn't matter at what point you are in your journey, how long you've been doing it, where you are. There's always room for growth. There's always room for knowledge base. There's always, you look at athletes, you look at some of the people who are the best of what they're doing. And they will always tell you that, from the Nipseys to the Jay-Z's to the Drakes, whoever you want to talk to, whatever field you want to go to, from the Chef Ramsay's, from all of that. you're still always room and opportunity to learn from somebody, from somewhere, from something. The minute you think that just because you've been doing something long, longevity doesn't dictate experience. Longevity doesn't dictate, as we spoke about, knowledge base and just having that, doing it the right way, getting it really out the mud. No, my man say he's been doing this 5 years lifting, 3 years specifically training. He say he's still going to the gym, but he's not. Not only is that showing you his character, it's showing you the humbleness behind it. Some people get 5 years in, some people get 3 years in. They want people to come to them for the knowledge. They want people, oh, why you not? Why or they want to insert their knowledge and just insert their different things like that into certain things. You ever notice how
Mm-hmm.
some people try to become an expert on things when
Mm-hmm.
they feel like they've hit a certain peak or pinnacle within it? No, man, it's always room to learn. It's always room to
Levels.
soak up and grow, man. And the fact that my man has his own my man has branded himself. My man has his own thing that he does. My man debunks myths. My man debunks the stereotype. My man becomes relatable and personable with everybody who he deals with. But the fact that even with all that said, with all that on the table, you're still learning. You're still asking questions. You're still not afraid to make yourself uncomfortable, and not afraid to admit that you don't know things. That's just, bro. That's a gem to me. That's just like, yo, is there's no timetable to this for me. It's just like, yo, you could, no matter how I'm about to be doing this for 2 years in a couple of weeks, and there's no timetable to this. I tell people have told me, that they love the episodes. People have given me things that I can work on, but at the end of the day, it doesn't. No, I can have 1,000 episodes, man. I could be doing this for 10 years straight. I'm gonna always still learn. I'm gonna always still wake up and give my all. I'm gonna always still recognize and accept the constructive criticism and the feedback, because in 10 years time and in 2 years time, I've gained, such a different audience. I've gained over almost 900 followers now. So that's just different perspectives. That's just different people. I read my ratings and my reviews. People ask me all the time, yo. Some people felt like I was going to take it personal. Some people have literally texted me and said, yo, can I you mind if I offer a critique? I'm like, please. Like, I'm tired of people
Right.
telling me, that they loved the episode, that it was good. Like, no, I'm not tired of that. I love to hear that. But at the same
You
time,
want
what
something real though.
somebody give me something that I could work on. Somebody give me something that I need to do. And some people, even say it like with a grain of salt or just real softly. I'm like, no, thank you. Like, I needed that. Like, I know that I'm not perfect. I need things to work on. I know that myself, how I pick up. I listen to my episode times when I'm editing, and when I'm going back and just listen, I'm just like, damn, like, why did I do that? Or why didn't I do that? Or why didn't I think of that? So the fact that I'm doing that, if somebody, I know other people are doing it. I know other people are listening for certain things and things like that. But the fact that, bro, you have been in this space for such a long time, and you still make yourself readily available. You still keep your ears open. You still keep your eyes peeled. It's amazing, dog. I just love every bit of that, bro.
I appreciate
That's
that,
cool.
man. But it's just like, you gotta know, you gotta have, you gotta know what you're doing and what you're stepping into. And so it's like, you learn that over just talking to different people. So I'll go up to guys in the gym that I've seen that I'm like, okay, I know you compete. What do you? And they're like, man, I've been doing this for 12 years, 15 years, da 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 da. And it takes time, man, because especially if you wanna have a meaningful growth. Because yeah, you could go and like we talked about earlier, you could get some steroids, and in a couple years you'll be great. But it's like, how long will you have that, right? How long? What'll be the effects of that? What's going to be the effects when you're off the steroids and your testosterone levels are going up and down, and you have a raised estrogen levels, and you're getting, man, but it's not worth it for that instant gratification. A lot of times people want to give you instant gratification. So from almost to me, it's like if I see a dude that's too big and he's too young, I don't want to talk to you because you're gonna tell me how to cheat. You're not gonna tell me how to really compete. You know what I mean? So I look for older guys. If you from the 80s, 90s, you know what I mean, even early 2000s, because I know you've done it natural and you might have done a little enhanced. That's fine. I'm not mad at you, but I need to have somebody who's got tenure. You know what I mean? So it's like for me, knowing that I don't want to hear nobody that's 5 years in, 2 years in. That's like I know I need to get my time to get my wisdom right. Because you gotta, like I said, you gotta listen, look, observe, learn before you can speak and act. You gotta do that, right? And that's why your understanding can be seen, right? You just gotta just follow simple orders of nature. Listen, look, observe, apply that knowledge that you just got, and then the understanding will be seen by everyone. You know what I mean? And if you don't do that, the misunderstanding will be seen because you'll look like shit. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of people that I know that have been working out. Has been working out since I was in high school, and I look way better than them. People have been working out way longer than me, but I'm way ahead of them. How did that happen? How could I pass you in really 3 years? How could I pass you like that? because you're not trying to learn about it. You just go in there and ego. I'm gonna bench. I can bench two plates, bro. Like, all right, but I mean, you look terrible though at the same time. I mean, so you gotta just find your balance, man. You can't be too high, can't be too low in this thing. You just you gotta just adapt, like we were talking about. So
Yeah, man, you done hit it. You done hit the nail on multiple heads, man. I love every bit of that, and I'm definitely just excited to see moving forward. My dog Zay just hopped on here too. He just opened up. I bought him on for one of my episodes. He got ground to go home. He's not in the body. He's not bodybuilding, but he just opened up a gym in Atlanta. So
okay,
to get him on my podcast, he was one of my first 10 episodes, and to really talk to him and just see his mindset and see how he was thinking about
yeah,
things
that's
and everything
beautiful.
like that, and to really now to see everything manifested and just how hard he's been working, it's just amazing, bro. But it just goes to show, when you really take the time out, when you really put the work in, like you said, when you really dedicate this year after year after year after year, bro, it's nothing but up for you, man. And I'm definitely excited. Just that obviously I'm tapping into the journey at this stage of my life, but now that I know all of this, now that I was able to even backtrack through what you shared with us, just being transparent and all of that, I'm excited for the future, man. I'm
Appreciate
excited to
that.
document
I
the
gotta
things that
see one of
life
my
and
before and after joints, man. I'll see that. So
I need
'cause
that.
that make it that'll make it real for folk right there. I'll see one of them
I need
joints,
that.
man. Cause
We
that be
need
the
to
one
do
that
that.
get them, man. Every time. And I show them that before they be like, "Yo, nah, bro." I'm like, "Yeah, that was me."
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that, bro. So before we close things out, before we give the people, your social media and everything like that, do you feel like there's anything we haven't talked about today? You feel like there's anything that people need to know about you, about Phi Nu Fitness, about moving forward, about just anything, bro? Anything that you want to touch on or lead the people
I
with?
think one thing that I want to get out as a message, just for overall fitness, because you don't always have to get a trainer, right? But what's gonna keep people? But I truly believe what to keep people grounded and being physically healthy is healing your mind first, right? Heal your mind first. Wake yourself up from, mental death. You have to have some form of consciousness. And particularly when I'm speaking to black people, get some knowledge of yourself. Because once you educate yourself to see how we ate, how we lived, what our life was prior to this, fiasco, these trials and tribulations we've gone through in America, it'll open your eyes more and make you want to be and live better. So one thing that I read, and I'm not saying everybody has to read this, but I read a book called How to Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and that was one of the best books I ever read because he spoke about the evils of food, right? And also how to preserve yourself for living. Now, as a bodybuilder, I don't follow that particular style of diet right now, but the concepts of what foods to eat, what foods not to eat, that's the main thing. What foods not to eat. That always stays in my mind. So even if I wasn't lifting, diet would be important to me because certain things I just don't eat. You know what I mean? Just learn how to trying to eliminate the Western diet, the Western civilization diet. That's one of the biggest things to help cure you. I'm not a Dr. Sebi person. I don't particularly agree with everything he say, but I think it is something to say when you can find consciousness. Because if you can heal the mind, you can heal the body. So I think if you attack up here, you'll want to work it, and you'll find discipline. Me being conscious, I knew how to do. I had to, number one, get the knowledge. I knew I had to do that first because I'm a 5%. We believe in doing the knowledge first. That's the foundation of life, knowledge, right? So I had to learn about bodybuilding, learn about my muscles, learn about exercising, and then I could go apply that, and then it was everything took off from there, and it's turned into what it is. So I'm pretty much a living proof, the true and living proof of if you do things in a proper order, you'll get the benefits of that. You'll receive a sweet fruit on your tree if you plant the right seed. You know what I'm saying? You got to plant the right seed first.
Talk that talk, man. Love that. I'm just, yeah, man. You inspired me today. I'm gonna look into that too, that book and everything, because I've definitely even heard some of his speeches and just different
Oh
things
yeah,
like
bro.
that.
On
And man,
another note,
he was
we can get into that. I'll send you some stuff, bro, for sure.
yeah, he was definitely knowledgeable beyond his years for sure. My pops got me into listening to a lot of his stuff and just what he really had to say, and just gives you a different
Oh,
outlook
for
on
sure,
life and
100%.
just how to approach things for sure. So I love that, man. So for all my people tapping in, listening, I definitely do encourage on some shape or form tapping with Ryan, even if it's outside, of just the whole bodybuilding thing or just anything like that. He just definitely got some gems and definitely, got some knowledge that he can definitely spread to you, bro. So for the people, looking to follow the journey, looking to even learn more about Phi Nu Fitness, you may have even sparked some interest, with bodybuilding and just wanting people to learn more, or maybe being able to obviously, because that's what he does. But obviously, he has other connects. He meets a lot of different people. He knows a lot of different people. He's active in the gym just the same. So for the people out there, just looking to tap in with you in any shape, form, or fashion, can you just give us, your social media and just the best ways to get in contact with you?
The best ways to get in contact with me is to follow me on Instagram, my fitness page, Phi Nu Fitness, PHINU Fitness, Phi Nu Fitness. And that's the best way whether you want to set up a consultation, whether you want to talk about training, or you just want to just talk about the sport or training itself, you can definitely do that with me there. And that'd be the best place, man. Scroll my page. I have plenty of workouts. I have plenty of different information just for the public to look at. So, Phi Nu Fitness on Instagram and Phi Nu Fitness on Facebook as well.
All right now, y'all heard it. Y'all got it. I hope y'all learned something today. I sure did. I wasn't taking notes on my pen and my pad, but best believe when I run this back, I'm gonna definitely be in there like I'm gonna be hitting Dre up now. Like, yo, you know this, you know that. I read that. Hey, bro,
Yes,
you
sir.
on
Yes,
that? You
sir.
read that book? What's your diet looking like? Because I know Dre's still eating McDonald's, so
Oh, nah,
we're gonna
don't
have to get
tell me
right.
that.
We gonna have to get right. We're gonna have to get right with him, man. Maybe not. I know Zay's still doing it. Dre might have cut it back, but I seen him the other day there, so I don't know, man. We're gonna have to. But I ain't gonna do him dirty
Don't
like
do
that
him
on the
dirty, man.
interview.
Let him
No, bro,
live.
Ryan. Like I said, he said that for sure. But no, bro. Like I said, from the time you followed me to just now, to just me even reaching out to you more recently, just in this week, and just wanting to be a part of it, and just how on go and how ready you were, bro. I appreciate it. I appreciate for it's people like you who continue to bring my vision to life, bro. It's people like you who propel me, who motivate me, who give me new knowledge. Like I said, this is not my field of expertise at all, but I love learning. I love soaking things up. I love being a sponge. I love having things to recollect. I love because this could be a conversation for me later down the line. This could be something that now when I'm starting to watch these things on TV or meet other bodybuilders, I have something to talk about. I have, and I'm not speaking from ignorance. I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking from the steroid conversation or things like that. I'm speaking about the classes and the different physique and what we doing and what's the weight and
Exactly.
read this book and all of this stuff like that. And now tapping people in with you. So I appreciate you for that. But most importantly, bro, I'm wishing you luck. I'm wishing you luck not only with the Phi Nu Fitness journey, but I'm wishing you luck with the competition journey. I'm definitely supporting you wholeheartedly along the way, bro. And anything, obviously, that I can do to help you, to propel you, definitely want to, bro, I'm always here for that. So,
Appreciate you, brother.
and obviously for my followers, man, always. And I think it goes without saying to everybody who joined tonight, everybody who's going to listen to this, to see this. I can't say it enough, but I appreciate y'all. I always love the support. It keeps me going and keeps me motivated because, like Ryan said, we got the confidence we hear and everything like that, but it's people like y'all who really just make it that much more special. So I love y'all, man. I appreciate all of the support. We're going to keep rocking and rolling. So, man, this has been another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner.